So today we have Danielle Pickering on. Who is Danielle Pickering, Scott? Tell
Danielle
us who she
Pickering is
is.
Restoration Church's fine arts coordinator.
Be honest, do you feel really cool that you can say that
Yes,
our church has one of those?
it's really nice, and honestly, we wouldn't have it if she wasn't such a phenomenal volunteer.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't care that she doesn't get paid. Obviously, anybody would love to get paid, but she does it
She would
because
agree with
of
that.
the love of fine arts.
Yeah, so maybe not everyone listening or watching knows Fine Arts Festival, and we talk about it. We literally define it, but Fine Arts Festival is a ministry of the Assemblies of God for youth ministries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm going to say for now. Keep listening if you want to know the rest of the definition. We talk about it. But Danielle is our Fine Arts director, so she's the one that's in charge of all that. She organizes rehearsals for the kids and helps with registration and all that great stuff. She's an evaluator, both at the district and the national level.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew there were other fine arts fanatics out there because I am one myself as well. I've said it multiple times, and you'll hear me say it on this episode. I'm a product of fine arts. I love it. And I got here, and it was like, oh, it's a thing we do sometimes. No shade at the previous youth pastor because he did participate. But not all the kids were educated on it. And I think since you've gotten here, Danielle, first of all, she pounced on it as soon as she could.
Literally, my first
And
Wednesday.
and educated you on what it was. And because of that, I think a lot more kids know what it is. A lot more parents know what it is, and I think it's great. And I was actually thinking, Scott, you'll hear a lot. She'll talk about personal stories and stuff. And Scott also is on this one because he's been to more nationals than me. The past, I haven't been since 20. Let's see, the last one I went to 2011.
Oh yeah, but you've been to more of them than I have.
Oh yeah. I was thinking, I was like, is there anything we didn't cover? We cover a lot in this. It's really great. Danielle's very passionate. I forgot to recognize and give a shout out to Ryan Yates, who is our current, at the time, Iowa Ministry Network Next Gen Director. And I want to give him a shout out because him and his wife Megan kind of run the festival. Mm-hmm. They do run the festival. There was also other important people, but they do such a great job with it. And what you see, even like if you attend, there's so much more behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. There's a tally room. They have to tabulate the scores. They have to print out certificates and sign them. They have to put the score sheets together to give it to the youth pastors. They have to, and then on top of that, like during the festival, at the end of the celebration service, they have to plan a service during all that. Like, there's a lot of work. So, Ryan, thank you so much for being a fine arts advocate.
Yep.
Did you have anything else to say, add to that?
I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more. Our fine arts would not be what it is without Danielle.
Yeah.
And her passion and her love for fine arts, honestly. And she is someone I am forever thankful for because she has made what our program is.
Yep.
And, it's actually been kind of nice every time we go to fine arts. We are known now as a fine arts church.
And I love that.
And we are also known as not just a fine arts church, but we're known as one of the churches in our district that excels at fine arts. And that's all thanks to her and her passion and her being there for students and her not only educating me, but educating everybody at the church. And then also giving us ideas on how to put these fine arts students in front of the main church.
Yep.
In front of our older community, people that may not know what fine arts is, they get to see what these kids are developing and how they're deploying them.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you, Danielle. We can't say thank you enough for all that you do. Again, unpaid volunteer time, and it's just pure passion. And the kids are thankful too, by the way. Yeah. They're so thankful for all that she does. She's great. And looking forward to more kids going and more nationals and me going, attending one of these years. I know I will. But this was a great conversation. You'll learn a lot. If you don't know what fine arts is, keep listening. If you know what fine arts is, still keep listening. You learn a lot about Danielle, why she has that passion. We even talked a little bit about puppet school. That kind of came up. So I know you're going to really want to listen to that. Scott is a big advocate for puppets and puppeteers.
I can't wait for you guys to hear that story.
It's so good. Anyway, here's Danielle Pickering. All right, Danielle, welcome.
Hello.
I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I think we're on our way back from fine arts. Was it your idea?
No, it was your idea.
Oh, well, thank you, me. Great idea. But I was like, hey, let's do one about fine arts because both of us, and we'll talk about it a little bit, are products of Fine Arts Festival, and you are very much a fine arts fanatic, is what I'm going to say. And I am
Yes.
too. I just, I still am for life, right? But thanks for coming by. Will you just introduce yourself, say your name, what you do, and then what you do here at church, at Restoration Church?
My name is Danielle Pickering, and I teach second grade at Walt Hill Public School. And then at the church, I am a youth leader, and then I help with fine arts.
You are our fine arts director.
Yeah,
Correct.
that.
Yep. Not every church has one, so we're blessed. You also help with worship upstairs too.
Yes,
You're a vocalist,
that as well.
and yeah. And so the way I met Danielle, if I remember correctly, I think you were only a youth leader
Yes.
for a while. I didn't know. I know nothing about youth, you know. And so I think it was actually Nicole, one of our main leaders, was telling me about the vocalists. It was actually it had to do with fine arts. We're like, oh well, Danielle did it, and I was like, okay. And I went downstairs, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember approaching you, and I was like, why aren't you singing upstairs?
Yeah, I think that you were leading worship one night
That's
in
what it
youth when
was.
I was there.
That's what it was. And I was like, she's great. Like, why is she not singing upstairs? And I was like, are you down? You're like, yeah, let's do it. And so you've been up there ever since. And then I think it was that Sunday, like in between services, when we like connected over our passion for fine
Yes.
arts, and we went down a deep rabbit hole, and
Yes.
people, not everyone understood. And we'll get into all that. But so you're involved here. You're a teacher. You're married. You're busy, aren't you?
I'm very
And
busy.
you have a part-time job on top of the teaching, correct?
Yes.
Isn't that is that just for fun?
Yeah, just for fun.
Where is that at?
I work at Boot Barn.
And those of you who know Danielle, that should not surprise you that she works at Boot Barn.
Do you work there for the discount?
Do you get a discount?
I do get a discount, but I honestly hardly buy anything from there.
Huh.
I respect that.
No, yeah, no. Danielle's known for her boots. She's wearing some right now, and she wears them all the time. Do you ever not wear boots? I've never paid attention. I don't really pay attention to people's shoes.
Well, on Wednesdays at school, we have wind pant Wednesdays, and so we get to wear sweatpants. And so I wear tennis shoes on Wednesdays.
And I'm assuming they let you wear boots at school.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting. That's cool. So Danielle is a product of fine arts, like I said, and we'll maybe try to go chronologically or something, and then whatever we think of, we can talk and discuss. But for someone who's listening or watching, that's like, what is fine arts? Maybe give like the official definition, and then kind of your definition. We should really put Scott on the spot and ask him what is fine arts, because he's an AG
Ooh, I
youth
like
pastor. Scott, what is fine arts?
Fine arts is I always say an arm of the Assemblies of God because I don't know any other way to say
I
it.
say ministry, but okay.
Okay, that's a good. It's
Yeah.
a ministry of the Assemblies of God that discovers, develops, and deploys
There you go.
students' God-given talents and abilities. And I say that because that's what everybody says.
Yep.
But Danielle truly knows legit what it is.
So that's the official like AG.
And I'll tell you this story. When I first started here 4 years ago, it was my first Wednesday night as a youth pastor. Danielle Pickering walked up to me and she said, "Hey, are we going to do fine arts?" And I said, "What's that?" She explained it to me, and I said, "Is it an AG thing?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "Then yes, we will be doing it because we are an AG church, and that's
Yep.
what Pastor Johnny wants us to do." So yes. And from that day forward, Danielle Pickering was our fine arts coordinator, director, person, and I'm forever thankful for her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Scott didn't know, and it was like perfect that you were here, and so we were able to do that and help him out and help the kids out with that. But so yeah, discover, develop, and deploy. But how would you define it?
So when I define it, I still usually use like the 3 discover, develop, deploy.
Yeah, that's a great language. That's great language.
So for like the discovering part, I think that it just gives students an opportunity to find out like what their giftings are.
Right.
Because there's so many different categories that they can participate in. And you don't have to be good at it to do it.
Right.
That's part of that discovering. And then as you discover it, you can start to develop it. And I think that a big part of developing it comes through like coaching that comes along with fine
Right.
arts. And then also the event itself, like the evaluators are there specifically to help the students develop their giftings.
Mhm.
And then the deployment, I think a lot of people think that the actual fine arts event is the deployment, but
Oh no,
I don't think it
no,
is.
I don't think so either.
The deployment is just simply learning skills to be able to spread the gospel.
Yeah,
In
I think
any,
also deployment is when they do whatever they've prepped, whether it's vocal, preaching, and they do it not for fine art. So like
yeah,
they have a song they prepare, and then their church has like a special thing, and they ask them to sing. That's the deployment, I think.
yes, yes.
And so like continue, yeah,
Yeah, I think that so that for sure can be the deployment where they do their specific fine arts event, but I also think the deployment can be just like the skills that you learn
oh yeah,
from participating in fine arts and then using those skills to then either right away after fine arts, during fine arts, or years down the road, taking those skills and using it.
yeah. So how it works is there's a plethora of categories that students can choose from. And some of the more common ones are like vocal solos, short sermons, but there's a ton. There's drama, which is kind of our thing here, kind of your thing. We'll get into all that. Human videos. Is human video an AG specific thing,
I think so.
or is that an AG term for it? I've seen other churches and denominations do it, but
I've only ever known it through AG.
AG, right?
Yeah.
Did you know what human videos were?
I grew up in a non-denominational church, and we did human videos.
Did y'all call it human video?
hmm
Okay.
Okay.
That's how I knew when we started doing fine arts, and you were like, "Oh, we were thinking about doing a human video." That's when how I knew what it was, because our church did them, and then anytime we went on missions trips, we did them.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, human video, drama, short sermon, and what are others? I'm forgetting. There's a ton.
So there's like
Pull up a rule book.
different
No.
divisions. There's the communication
Yeah,
division.
that's a better way to answer that.
Which has like spoken word, short sermon, all that kind of stuff. There's the dance division. There's the drama division, which includes both dramas and human videos. There's writing division. And then there's visual art division.
Photography
Yep.
and all
So
that stuff.
photography goes under that. I think that's all of the divisions.
Yeah, there's
I
some newer
think.
ones too. I'm assuming communication would also be readers theater, right? That's communication under that
That is
umbrella.
under drama.
Drama, okay. And they've added some new things too.
Yes.
And even since I don't recall, but I know that worship leading solo is now a thing. I don't think that was a
Vocal
thing.
division.
There we go.
Instrumental division.
There we go. Of
There we
course.
go.
How can we forget? And so I thought that was so cool because if there's a student who loves worship and a student who maybe leads worship, they can do that and get feedback and really great feedback. So anyway, students choose however many categories they want to participate in. And depending on the student, a lot of students are just multi-talented. They're just good at everything. And so there may be a student that wants to sing a solo, be in the human video, be in the drama thing, and also do photography. They can do as many as they want, but they register that way, and then they prepare a presentation. There is like criteria for each category,
Yes.
and so they have to follow that criteria. So there's like a time limit. There's a theme thing. There's a way they have to introduce their stuff, which I really like that too.
Yeah.
And so they follow that criteria. And then we have the festival. Here we go to Des Moines to do it for the state of Iowa. And they present in front of 3 evaluators. Not judges, but evaluators.
Now, I was looking at my old forms, and some of them say judge, and then
I
some
thought
of them
about,
say evaluator.
I know where mine are, and I thought about bringing them to this, but I didn't have time. Because I still do you have all yours too?
Yeah.
So they perform in front of 3 evaluators. The evaluators have sheets, and they critique. So they write comments, they give a rating, and talk about how the rating works.
So there's different ratings. There's fair, good, excellent, and superior. And so they each have a certain score bracket. Superior is 36 to 40. It's out of 40 points.
40 is the total, yeah.
40 is total.
The highest.
And then it just goes down from there. I don't remember all of the
breakdowns.
breakdowns.
And
I
then
think it's
superior with
31.
invitation is like if you do well enough and you gain that, you can move on to nationals.
Yes, so they have changed it
Yeah.
that every superior is with invitation. I think it used to be that you could get a superior without
and not be
invitation.
invited. Yep.
That for sure changed by the time I had started fine arts.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they get critiqued. They get these sheets back, and then if they score high enough, they can go to nationals, that's another whole topic
Yes.
there. But fine arts in itself is a great way for students to develop their skills, definitely. And Danielle and I are both products of fine arts, and I've said it before on this podcast and in church and in casual conversation. But like, I wouldn't be doing this worship pastor job had it not been for fine arts, because I did worship leadership, or like worship team,
Mhm.
vocal solo, and it prepped me for that. And the way it deployed me was when I first signed up for it. It was I was like a freshman in high school, and they were like, "We want to put a worship team together," my church. And I was like, "Okay, for fine arts." And they were like, "You sing, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Can you play the piano?" And I was like, "Not really, but I can figure it out." And so I was like thrown in the deep end. And so I went, worked on it. We had like a 2-song set that we worked on for months, which is funny now. And we did it. And was getting back to the deployment thing, as we went, we got critiqued. We didn't do that great our first year,
Yeah.
but each year we got back, we got better and better and stronger. And in between those times, we ended up being like the worship team for our youth group.
Yeah.
So that was the way that we were deployed. And so it was so many great stories. And so, what about you? What is your experience when you were a student doing fine arts?
I kind of like to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I was similar to you, where I
Uh-huh.
did my senior year. I did some Christian band, worship leading, solo, all that stuff, and I did not know how to play piano. And I was trying to put together these bands, and I could not find anybody that would play piano. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna
So
have
then
to
it was you.
learn.
Yeah.
And so I learned. I'm still not very good, but I didn't know anything to at least be able to play a little bit. We didn't do very good, but
Tinkered some
I
chords,
did
right?
it.
Yeah.
And then I drama was definitely my thing. I always liked vocal solo.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite event, and I never advanced in it.
Huh.
And I always wanted to. My closest I got is I was looking through my score sheets today, and um, I saw one that I had a 36 and two 35s, and
Oh, that was close.
you
Yeah.
need 36s to advance.
Yeah. I need to go look at mine and reread them. It'd be fun to see,
Yeah,
because I haven't read them in a long time. I have them in a folder, and yeah, it was so fun, like
yeah,
preparing all that. And that helped too with the vocal solo thing. And the cool thing too is when students present their youth groups there, so they have support. It's so
yes,
cool. And like it's hosted at a church, and so church has different, the venues have different rooms, different room sizes. So if it's a smaller room, we fill up the room. It's just like it helps the student, feel supported. And it's such a cool thing.
yeah,
I remember my church back home at Tabernacle Low Tap Church. We were a very, very, very heavy fine arts. Actually, I was talking to Pastor Scott about it, and he had asked me about youth camp, and I was like, come to think of it, I don't think we really went to camp. I think we alternated. I think we went to camp one year, maybe nationals. I don't remember, but I remember it's like we went to fine arts, and then we were done. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do next year?
yes.
Like what's the
I
plan?
think
And
those are the best conversations on the way
on the
home
way home,
from
the
districts,
excitement
or
is so
on the
high.
way home from nationals. You're just like, hey, what are we gonna do next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah, and it's so great, and even our kids have started doing that too.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, and they get inspired." The other cool thing is students get to watch other students' presentations. So they get
Yeah.
to see other churches, and they get inspired, or they're like, "Man, we could do that," or "Wow, they're so talented from so and so and so and so." And
Mhm.
it's a really cool thing. And they kick everything off with like a service, so it's like themed towards students, a message, a time of worship. This year was amazing. We went, and there was extended worship for how long were we there?
So good. I was like 3 hours.
Yeah, it did not feel like 3
It
hours
was
though. It
so
was
good.
it was amazing.
So
And the
good.
students were at the altar, they were giving words. It was amazing. And I'm like,
Hmm.
this is what it's about. And so it's amazing. Fine arts does so much to prep kids for ministry, and I like the way you worded it. We had a collective night here, and our students presented in front of the whole church, and you said that like a misconception is that people think fine arts preps kids to become like full-time ministers, but that's not the case,
Right.
right? Will you elaborate on that a little bit?
So it definitely can.
Yeah.
Short sermon, all
Yeah.
that gets you ready for that. But there's other things as in it as well. And it just kind of goes back to, like I had said earlier, with the skills.
Mm-hmm.
It gives students the skills that they need to, no matter what field of work they enter in, to be able to spread the gospel.
Yeah, and like you're a teacher,
Yeah.
but you're serving.
Yeah.
You sing worship, and you lead the our fine art stuff.
And
It's
even with my teaching, I feel like my drama stuff that I did and just being comfortable in
yeah.
front of people. that skill might not be directly being used to spread the gospel while
Yep.
I'm teaching, but it definitely has helped me in my career field.
Yeah. Do you remember your very first year ever doing fine arts?
Yes.
What grade were you in, and then what categories did you do?
So sixth grade, and I did not know what fine arts was.
Uh-huh.
I remember one Sunday morning, my mom like comes to me and he was like, "Hey, you want to do a human video?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is, but yeah." And so I signed up for that, and I went to this fine arts thing, and I get there, and I'm like, "Wait, I could have done more than just a human
Oh yeah.
video." And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's all this stuff." And so did a human video my sixth grade year.
Like part of a group.
Yep,
Yeah.
as a group. And then the next year I did a human video, a vocal solo, and a vocal ensemble small.
There we go.
Um, and then yeah, my senior year I ended with 16 events.
16.
16.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Were they like mostly solo category? Probably a mix, right?
A mix.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember my very first year. I think I was in seventh grade, sixth or seventh grade, and I did a vocal solo because that was kind of my thing. Like we discovered, my dad was the choir director,
Mm.
okay, and we discovered that I could sing pretty young, and
Yeah.
I was singing in the kids choir, whatever. And I always tell Nicole this. I was like, I don't know why I chose this song. It was the most boring song. It's a great song. Chris Rice, if you're listening, he's not. It's a great song. Um, but it was "Come to Jesus," the weak and wounded sinners. Oh my gosh, snooze fest! Like how not exciting. And so I remember I went my first year, and I was so intimidated because I was young, and I was with all these students that are in high school and stuff. I'm like, I don't know who they are. I went on this trip with them, and then we went to nationals. My first nationals was in 2007, Indianapolis,
Mm.
and there was nothing to do in Indianapolis, and so like that. We weren't there for those reasons, but whatever.
Right.
And so then a lot like you, as the years went on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something else. Let me do, let's do a vocal solo. I did vocal solo every year, but I was like, let me try and be in that human video. I think I did a couple, not that many, and we always had a youth choir. I did that, and then we did a couple vocal ensembles when I got older, and we're older high school students, and then when I was in high school, the big thing was the worship team,
Mm.
and I was younger. All the others were like older than me. So like the first year we did it, like one of our main vocalists, it was her last year. So she only did 1 year, and then the rest of us just kept going, and it was just like I said, the growth is amazing. Like when you go
Yeah.
back and watch, it makes me cringe. It's still out there,
Yes.
but I'm like, oof. And then now I'm like, wow, how far have I come?
Yeah.
For fine arts. But Danielle also has been an evaluator at the district and the national level. So talk a little bit about that. What's that
Um,
been like?
Yeah, evaluating is so much fun. I really
is.
love it a lot.
Yeah.
So it started the year after I graduated. I was asked, I'm from North Dakota, so I was asked by the North Dakota district to evaluate some stuff. And I did, and I was like, wait, this is a lot of fun. And then I continued evaluating every year, and then I did the college division, which is called Kappa Tau for
Yep.
fine arts. And then once I couldn't do that anymore is when I started evaluating at nationals. And one thing that I love about evaluating is that you really just get to pour in to those students,
Yeah.
and just be there to encourage them, but also like your role as an evaluator isn't just to tell them like, oh, good job, here's a gold star. Like you're there to develop them. And so I think that it's something that I personally take really seriously when I do
Yeah.
it, because getting those score sheets when I was a student was one of my favorite things, because I just
yeah.
wanted to know how can I be better.
Yeah.
So I think just being intentional with making sure that you are actually giving critiques,
Yep.
but also not tearing them down either.
Yeah,
because
there's a
that's not-
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to encourage, you want them to continue what they're doing to improve.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to discourage them to like, I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how are they going to improve if you don't give, pointers and tips? I've evaluated also, not at the national level. I've been invited, but I've always had a conflict. One of these years I will.
Yes.
But evaluating is, like you said, it's like a direct way to pour in.
Mhm.
It's literally what it's about, is to
Yeah.
help them grow. And we have some great other fellow evaluators in this district in the state of
Yeah.
Iowa, and I love when it's done and you concur with the other two evaluators, and you're like, okay, we're around the same
Yeah.
number, and okay, we're saying the same things, and The hardest part about evaluating, I'm just gonna be really honest. This is really dumb. Is writing neatly because I have terrible handwriting.
Yes.
I have
And you
terrible
don't have a
handwriting.
lot of time.
No, you don't.
Districts, you got
It's a little more
time.
flexible.
But like when you're at nationals, it's like we've got a time schedule. We need
Yeah,
to
you
stick
gotta.
to it. I think there's
Yeah.
like maybe a minute, and where they like don't like you can't just stare at your
Right.
paper and write either while they're
Yeah.
presenting. So you have to like be watching them and then keep all your comments and
Gotta
then
pay attention and know what
yeah.
you have to write as you go too. So
Mhm.
any students listening, that's not always a bad thing if we're writing while you're
Yes.
doing your thing. It may be a great thing we're writing and um we just have to move. We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. I'm trying to get really good at like not looking at my paper when I
Yeah.
write, which does not help my handwriting at all. Like it's like going up the
Yeah,
page.
I don't write neat at all. And so that's such a challenge. And so but yeah, that's evaluating is a thing. I think my dad was also an evaluator at the Gulf Latin shout out, Gulf Latin American District throwback. And I will say too that I don't know about your home district, North Dakota, but my home district when I was growing up, it was called the Gulf Latin American District. We were huge. I mean, we were really big. And so we actually had fine arts at Nelson University. It will always be SAGU to me, Southwestern
It's
Assembly
not
University.
Sagu anymore?
No, it's called Nelson University.
Oh.
News to you?
News to me.
We're gonna still call it SAGU.
We are.
Anyway, it was at SAGU, and so it was this big university campus, and we filled that chapel, and it was always a highlight. I always counted down to going to fine arts because I enjoyed it so much. I also enjoyed the preparation, which I wanted us to get into, is you know when a church does fine arts, they need time to rehearse,
Mhm.
practice, get better. It's not like the kids just show up and do what they're going to do. Now there are exceptions, like if it's a vocal solo that is on their own time. But for
Yeah.
example, human video, you got to have rehearsal time to be together.
Yeah.
But when I was in at my church in Houston, I remember Sundays were the day. It's like that's the day. We had morning services and we had evening service, so we would stay all day, what we
Yep.
call it. So we'd go to service, go eat lunch somewhere, come right back to the church, run through the worship stuff, human video, choir, whatever it was, and it was just like a machine. And so yeah, talk about that a little bit. Like,
Yeah, we were pretty similar.
yeah,
Sundays was the day.
yeah,
We had 3 services. So usually I think after third service is when we would like pack a lunch or run quick and get food. And then we come back to the church and we would have either human video practice first or drama practice first. And then if you're in both, you'd stay. And
yep.
I mean, it was a busy day.
And then you always have a fine arts presentation night in your youth
Yes.
group before. Scott has those two, and here, and I love those two.
Yeah.
We did it in the big church, and I loved it
Yeah.
because the congregation got to see some youth that they may not even know, and like it was always like one of my favorites.
I remember one time when I was in youth, we did our fine arts night as like a red carpet night.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so like
Are you taking notes?
everyone
Taking
like
notes?
dressed up for it, and then like I think we like even had like a red carpet that like we
Oh,
had
that's
like laid
cool.
down, and it was so fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
The AG, go ahead.
I love that presentation night because oftentimes, you guys, we practice on Wednesdays
Mhm.
before service, and oftentimes I'm doing things so I don't get to like sit in and watch the kids practice. And so I always end up crying at least 2 or 3 times
Oh yeah,
at presentation night because it's like kids have been practicing so hard, and then either they knock it out of the park and
Yeah.
it's so good and it makes me cry, or it's the fact that like what they're presenting is like so powerful and anointed that I'm like, oh my goodness. There was Layla Bradley and um,
Jenna.
Jenna did a presentation. It was a small drama and a drama ensemble small, and I didn't get to see it until we were at Fine Arts. And when I was done, they were done. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" They absolutely knocked it out of the
Yeah.
park. And then the message behind it was so good, and I was like, I was literally speechless. And when I was not any bit surprised in the least that they advanced to nationals
Yeah.
because one, they did so good, and it was so funny because I remember before they went up, uh, Jenna came up to me and she's like, I don't know my lines. I don't know my lines. And I was like, stop, let's pray.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we prayed, And then she went up there and I mean, if she didn't know her lines, she didn't seem like it because she killed it. And I was just like, both of them did such a good job. And I remember I was just sitting out there crying. And then they came up and I was like, that was so good.
It was so good. They like came up to me afterwards. Were like, "That's our first time getting through it memorized." I was like, "I know," and it was so good, so good.
Yeah, I love when students present in front of their youth group, in front of the church. We've done it here, I think both now because we have the new collective set up, and that was
Yeah.
literally perfect.
Well, yeah. And before we did the RC Collective, we always had a Sunday morning where at least one or two of them got to present. We had a short sermon one time that got to preach, which I had to follow up, which wasn't fun because he killed it, and I was like, this is not cool. And then we've had different drama ensembles that have done Sunday mornings as well. But this year was the first year that all of them got to present in front of the church.
Yeah,
I l-
except
yeah.
for the large drama.
Yeah, because
We had a
weren't able to
couple
make it.
kids, that were making. Yeah, that's important too, is giving them the opportunity to perform it in front of other people before fine
Yeah.
arts. You don't want fine arts to be the first time that they perform in front of people.
No.
Something happens in your brain when you're practicing alone in your room versus when you're in a room full of like
Oh
eyeballs.
yeah, I
staring
told
at
the
you.
girls. So we started our practice for nationals yesterday,
Yes.
and I told the girls, I was like, I understand that like your practice is never going to be the same as your
Yeah.
presentation. It's just not. And I
Yeah.
I think I was always that way. Like I don't feel like during practices I could ever give my 100%
Oh yeah.
until I was
When
actually
there's
up
people in
there.
front of you.
Oh yeah, it's so different.
And you can catch things too, like the energy is just different.
Yeah.
Like the energy between people in a human video or a drama. And then when you have people in front, you're like, okay, there's gonna be reaction here,
Yeah.
like, all
Which
that.
is great. It's great that like your presentation's going to be different, but it
Right.
also makes the coaching part of it so much harder
Yeah, it's difficult.
because you're like I don't like it's hard to critique a whole lot when I know that this isn't going to be
Yeah.
your exact presentation. Like
Yeah.
this isn't what it's actually going to be like.
Any disaster stories of when you were a student?
I guess my biggest disaster was luckily it was not actually at Fine Arts. It was the Wednesday before. And I was giving my spoken word and I forgot it.
You forgot the whole thing?
Oh, I do have a disaster story
Oh, you do?
too from Fine Arts. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I this was Kappa Tau, so college division, and I did dramatized quoting,
Okay.
and I had done very well the year before, and all three of my evaluators had given me a 40 out of 40
Oh my gosh.
the year before, and one of the evaluators, I recognized her the next year when I
Uh-huh.
went, and I was like, oh my gosh, this lady thinks I'm gonna do so good because I did good last year, but what if I don't like live up to the expectation that she has? Like, and I like psyched myself out so bad, and I get up there, and I like pause, and this is dramatized quoting, which has to be 100% word for word.
Yep.
Because so for those of you who don't know, dramatized quoting is when you take a passage of scripture and you memorize it word for word, and then you like act it out as you're doing it. And I was doing mine, and I was so psyched out because I had like recognized this
Yeah.
evaluator, and I forgot my words as I'm up there presenting, and then I like had to stop, and I was thinking about it, and then I like had to cycle back, and it was bad. It was very bad.
Did you get perfect 40s?
Absolutely not.
That
I think I
sounds-
got like 34s.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so still not like terrible.
So
but
we would do puppet shows too. We were a big puppet show church.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? We would do puppet shows. We were a big puppet church for a while. And so my dad was like, "Do one at Fine Arts. That's a category." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, sure." And so a couple things. One, we didn't have. It was not a great selection. It was kind of boring. It was like usually puppet shows like songs are fun. This was like a drama but with puppets. Now that I think of it, it wasn't very exciting, and I don't even remember what the message was, to be honest. It was like two puppets visiting a museum or something. Anyway, so my dad, being the creative guy he is, he's like, "Let me create you a backdrop." I said, "Okay." So he got like this board. I don't remember what it was made out of, but my dad's very creative, by the way. I don't know what happened to me, but he's
You're
v-
very
he can
creative as
thank you. But he can make anything, but he can paint too really well. I don't know how where that gene
Yeah.
missed me and my sister because we cannot draw. So he drew this elaborate background thing, and he's like, you need an easy way to be able to put it behind your stage. And I said, okay. So he had like this tripod with like a pole. He's like, I'm just gonna, and he rigged it. He's like, I'm gonna put this connector here and just tape it to this. All you gotta do is raise it up and lock it. I was okay. So we go, and it was me and my friend Evelyn, who's been on this podcast before. I think it was her, and we were gonna do the puppet show. And so they give you some time to set up. Like, okay, you have like 90 seconds, whatever, 60 seconds to set up. So we go in there, and usually when you do, for all you puppeteers listening and watching, I know you're there. Um, Usually it's like the height of the stage is where you're on your knees and you just raise your hand and you do your thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so the stage comes about right here. Okay, we get in there and the stage is like taller than we are, like standing. Like we can stand behind it and we're still covered. And we look at each other. We're like, what are we gonna do? Because when you raise my dad's like stand all the way, it was still not gonna be seen. And so one of our friends who was helping us, who was there, we turned to her. We're like, can you hold this up while we do our puppet show? She was like, I can try. And so I still see it in my head. Me and Evelyn are getting ready. We got our puppets, and our other friend gets this board, and she literally raises it up like this while she's standing. And she held it up the entire time. And by the end, she was like shaking. We didn't advance. Yeah. And I was like, it wasn't even worth it. Like, that was not good. And we didn't do puppets after that. It was just, it was not good.
My one of my good friends, he did a puppetry group and they placed third
At nationals,
at nationals.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Was it a song?
I don't even know. I think it was before I was even in fine arts.
I love
He's
puppets.
older than
I
me.
love puppetry. We went to puppet school. Like we were huge and all that. I remember when Scott first got here, one of the first how did they even come up in conversation? Do you remember?
You were talking about your dad and how that they used to do puppet ministry, and then one day in staff meeting, you were randomly talking. They were talking about ideas that we could do, and you were like, "We could do a puppet show." I went to puppet school, and I said, "Bro, you don't need to tell people that."
I told you. I was like, Scott, hey, I went to puppet school. I could like
So what
come up-
was this puppet school?
This is a whole other thing, but this is cool. So they used to have puppet school where they would like, I don't remember the name of the company, but they would like travel to churches. And this is okay. Remember, we're millennials, so
Right?
puppets were bigger.
Yeah.
When they don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
do it today.
No.
And so puppets were a big part of
Kids
children's ministry, kid
Yeah.
ministry. And so you had teams of kids church team members that wanted to get better, and so they would travel. And I don't know how Dad got it, but we would go and we would spend the day there. So he'd take the whole team, and we were youth students that would do it. We'd go, and we would meet in this big room, and they would show you something. Okay, this is great. I've never talked about this. This is very exciting content. So you asked the question. So we get there, we sit in this room, everyone's in the same room, and the big thing, the big product they were trying to push.
The way you're reacting right now is showing us all that.
No, it's
this
really
was
cool.
Not cool.
No, it is. It's just the times were different. Okay, and I know Scott's gonna laugh when he hears some of this stuff.
Someone is going to be on this thing making fun of me because I'm making fun of you for doing.
I know if
puppet
Will
school.
Raddick listens, he's gonna give you so much. He's passionate. He loves puppets. Anyway, so there is this company called Puppet Productions, I think, and that's where we ordered our puppets from all the time. They sent in like a mailing catalog, and we'd select, and they were really nice. I'm not gonna get too deep in this, but okay. Anyway, the product they were pushing at the time was a walking stage. So it was like a stage you would wear. So like you'd wear it, and there was like something in front of you, and there was a black screen in front of your face. That was kind of so that way you can have the puppet like this and have your mic, and you walk around, and it was amazing. We were like, oh my gosh. Then they would split us up, and they would do like basically breakout sessions, and they would teach you different skills. So one room was for the rod puppet. So that's the one where you have your hand in the puppet, and the other one has a rod, and that's how you work the hand. And they would teach us technique. Then there was another room. This one was funny for the human arm puppets. That takes two people to operate. So one person's doing this, and there's another person. And what you do is you put your hands and your arms through like actual arms. So the puppet has arms and hands, and it can do things, and the other person's operating the hand. And I distinctly remember this because what they did was they showed us how to operate it, how to use it and stuff. And they said, okay, get a partner, come up here. And they had a puppet stage, and there was like 8 or 10 pairs. And they had this track, and it was like a workout track. They're like, okay, we're going to do some exercises. And the whole point was to get you to, know how to operate it. And one of the exercises I distinctly remember was you were supposed to get your right hand and turn the head and have the left ear touch and then do the other side like this so that you're working. But me and my cousin Jonathan, we were partners. He was a great puppeteer too. We cheated. I just went like this and like across the hands and we went down and my parents were like, "You did that, Mijo, you did that wrong. Like you made that too easy." I don't know where we got on this topic, but all I have to say, we went to puppet school and we were trained. Back to the Scott thing. At one of our first conversations, I was like, "Yeah, dude, I went to puppet school and I'm like good enough to audition for the Muppets or Sesame Street." And he looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, don't tell people that. That's not cool."
Not something to be
And I was
proud
like,
of.
Whatever." Anyway, all that to say, go ahead.
We should take a picture of you guys sitting there and try to turn it into puppets for the cover photo for this.
I'm sure AI could do it.
That would be hilarious.
But you know what's funny? Now I think of it, my parents were children's pastors for like 35 years, but I never did a children's lesson for fine arts. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe because I knew I wasn't going to pursue that. But you know what else? I'm also a big band nerd. I never did like a trumpet or French horn solo.
Really?
Nope, I never did that.
So what all did you do anything instrumental? Like in the instrumental
just worship
division?
stuff. That's it.
Okay.
But yeah, I come to think, if I could go back in time, I would have done like a French horn solo or
Yeah.
something. And then they used to do a national. I don't know if they still do it. A National Fine Arts Orchestra. Do they still do that?
No, I don't think so.
They used to do a thing at nationals where, because they have a bunch of students, and they said if you play an orchestral instrument, bring it, and we'll perform
Oh
at
yeah, no,
some
they
random
don't do
time.
that, but that's
Okay.
cool.
And so the orchestra director that did that was my director at Evangel, and that's how I knew about it. But anyway, yeah, if I go back, I would have probably done like a horn solo or something. But I never did that. But it was funny though, because when I got to Iowa, they were like, "You read music, right? You're a band director," and they stuck me in all and just find like flute solo, cello solo, and I was like, "Okay, this is cool," because I'd never
Yeah.
done that before. But would you talk about a little bit about the difference between like district level and national level, maybe even like the presentations themselves, either like when the first time you went or like what it's like today, either way.
So I guess when I was a student, I always viewed it as like an excellent at the national level is like really good.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
The stakes
um,
are so high.
yeah. So nationals is just the next level. And I don't think it's intentionally meant to be harder
Right.
or anything like that. I think it's just that I think now being on the evaluator side, I see it a little bit better. There's just so much
Just
there
a
that's
lot.
so good.
Hmm.
So good. Like everything that's there is just phenomenal. Obviously they had to advance to be able
Yep.
to get there, and so um, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest difference
And
is
the
just
score values, like down to 1.3 points, is a lot.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. 'Cause it's your average score.
yep.
So like yeah, you could get so when I was growing up at districts, if you got 36, 36, 35, that was a superior rating
Hmm.
because you got two 36s.
Right.
But it is now the average. So 36, 36,
Mm.
35
Divided by 3.
divided by 3
Ah.
is not
So that's
a
not.
superior.
Huh.
Yeah. So
That's
that yeah, it's
If that tells you anything about the stakes, it's because there's so many.
there's so many.
There's so many. What was your Scott? You went to a nationals, your very first one. What was your reaction when you were like this compared to like district level?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Like
Right.
I didn't get to watch as much of other churches as I wanted to, but watching the other churches that I did get to see, I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
I'm like, "These kids are like
And they're all students.
good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to sit in on one human video, and I was like, and then at the end obviously they get all those kids that get callbacks that get to perform at the closing service. I mean, there's a kid, he had to have been like 16 years old, and he preached a sermon better than I've ever preached, and
so
I've been
good.
Oh my
preaching.
gosh.
And he did it in 5 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
And I was just
Yeah.
like, obviously, of course he's pregnant, but dude. And then I think the one that got me was there was a girl who did sign language to a song, and I was like, this
Oh my
is
gosh,
like
that can make you
the
cry.
coolest
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
ever.
We had sign language students that did it because we had a family at our church who had multiple members who were deaf, and so
Mhm.
we had a lady that was like an expert, and she would help us. And man, those would make me cry. Like
Yeah.
sign language.
We had a family at our church who their dad was deaf.
Uh huh.
And so their girls all did sign language phenomenally. They were so good.
We did a sign language group. I now that's one I never did sign language. I was like, that's I'm
I
not
did
gonna.
sign
You
language.
did
Yeah.
group?
Solo.
What song was it?
Temporary Home by Carrie Underwood.
Of course, Carrie Underwood.
Yes, of course.
Did you do good or?
I did a lot better than I expected to. I was 1 point off from advancing.
And I'm assuming it was that family that helped you, the one with the deaf dad.
No. It was, so our church had like,
Oh, did y'all
um,
have?
we had like a
Signers?
section in our church for a little while that like was for deaf people.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we had interpreters
So you had.
on Sundays. And one of the ladies, I think her son was a year younger than me. And so like we were friends and we did fine art stuff together already. And so like I had their daughters actually were the ones that coached my first human video. So like I just knew this family my whole life, and I believe she taught sign language like at a college or something. Don't quote me on that. But I had mentioned I was interested, and so she helped me with it. And then we did consult with the wife of
Uh-huh.
or like the mom
To
of the
make sure
girls
it's
or whatever,
legit,
to make
yeah.
sure that like everything was how it's supposed to be. And it was fun because there was like different, like I'm sure it's probably like I don't speak any other languages, so I don't know, but like there's different ways that you can translate
Yep.
things, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
So like with the sign language, she would ask me like, do you want to interpret it as being this way or do you want it this way? And then like I still got to help make those decisions, and it was so fun. It was fun. I did it my senior year, and I wish I would have done it before then.
So what you're saying is you can coach a sign language team here.
Absolutely not.
No, yeah, it's pretty amazing, and I love what Scott said about crying. I
Yeah.
love when a presentation moves me to tears.
Yes.
That happened this year. There was a duet. It was like very worshipful, and I lost it because I was like, these are students,
Yeah.
and it's all for ministry for the kingdom, and they're so gifted,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. I
Yeah.
love when that happens. My heart also breaks when things don't go that well,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Especially when you know the passion's there,
yes.
and then like something just happens.
Again, it takes time.
It takes so
Because
much
if you
time.
compare the last year of me doing fine arts or us, our students compared to when we first went, we were little. Oh my gosh, it's night and day.
Oh yeah.
And that's the whole purpose of
Yes.
develop. That's why that's in there is develop.
Yes.
And we don't expect perfection either. You
Yeah.
know, and we can see it if it's there as
Mhm.
evaluators. We understand you're nervous.
Yeah.
We understand if there's a tech issue out of your control. We get it.
Yeah.
We can sense the giftings there, and we always have a big meeting with evaluators beforehand. The DYD or next gen director of the state always tells us expectations like,
Mhm.
we're here to help the kids. If there's a student who really needs another year before they're ready for nationals, like
Let's give
you
them
need
that
you
year.
need to give them that, but give them something to work with.
Yes.
Don't just give them a 33 with like good job.
Yes.
Give them a 33 with great selection. I see the passion. I sense the
Mhm.
calling. Here's a technique tip.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And yeah, a fun thing I did this year was evaluated a short sermon in Spanish.
Mm.
That was very fun, and he did great. His Spanish was
Was that the
excellent.
guy that presented
He
at the
did,
celebration
and
service?
he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was so fun, and that was the other unique thing about my home district was there were Spanish categories. So there was vocal solo English, vocal solo Spanish, and the Spanish was kind of the I don't want to. This is not a word we want to use for fine arts, but it was very competitive, is what I'm going to use to describe it, because there weren't as many at nationals.
Yeah.
So we knew that our odds of getting a callback or placing at nationals were higher if we did a Spanish solo, which I never did one of those either.
You didn't?
No.
Why?
I don't know. If I would have gone back in time, I probably should have. I never did.
I honestly didn't really even know Spanish was an option.
Really?
Because,
I should
I
have.
mean, we didn't have anything Spanish in North Dakota. North Dakota kind of like beats to the rhythm of their own drum.
Yeah, I don't.
like
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just like randomly added, let's add cake decorating. And so we did like cake decorating,
Really?
which is not like a fine arts
What?
category. And it wasn't a category that they could advance to nationals in. It was
Huh.
just at the district level, and they would decorate
Interesting.
cakes. They'd be evaluated on it, and then at the end, they sold their cakes, and the money all went to Speed the Light.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
cool.
And then our merit award at districts was so different.
Huh.
So like here, and I think most districts, merit award goes to the top score.
Yep.
What we did is after you got done presenting, you went up and you spoke with the evaluators, and they had merit questions that they asked you.
Interesting.
And so the merit award went to who the evaluators felt was truly using their giftings in ministry. So it was more of like a ministry award rather than like a top score. So like you could win merit award and not even advance to nationals because they saw the ministry potential or the ministry like that you're being used in ministry.
Pun intended. I see the merit in that, but I don't know if I agree with that. I can see where I can see. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think, and that's all I knew. Like I didn't know that that was different at all.
Yeah, because that's all you
That's
know.
all I knew.
Yeah.
And I think
Interesting.
now, so one of my good friends, she is very involved in the North Dakota district, and I think she said that now they do both,
Okay,
where
yeah.
they do like the merit award, and then they do like a ministry award as
I
well.
do know too that they usually in the celebration service would have like the merit recipient is the one that would perform in front of everybody. I do remember also, this is another topic, there's a kid version of fine arts. They call it fun arts.
Yes.
I did that one year, and the thing I liked about that was when they did the celebration service, they didn't only select from the pool of merit winners. They chose from anybody. And so
Wait, fun arts has been a thing for a long time.
I did it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
It
didn't
had
know
a
anything about it till like 3 years ago.
different name though. I don't remember what it was called, but I did it one year, and I scored an excellent. But they still selected me to perform in the
Oh,
in the
cool.
thing. Yeah, and so yeah, dude, fine arts is the bomb. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. And back to the nationals thing. The cool thing about nationals I love too is there's a great exhibits hall where they have so much, like every AG college in the country, some you've never even heard of,
Yeah.
in countries, in cities you've never heard of. You're like, there's a school there that's AG.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ministries. There's all kinds of mission stuff. They always have a really cool missions experience. Do they still do that?
Yes.
Where it's like immersive, and it's amazing. And kids, you get a ton of free shirts and a ton of free.
They don't get as much free shirts anymore. It used to
Stingy,
be
huh?
like anyone could go get the free shirts.
I remember that.
Now I think it's most colleges have changed it to just juniors and seniors.
What I will say too,
Stingy.
yeah. What I will say too is that's kind of the reason I went to Evangel was because they always had a cool booth, and I remember my senior year, the big thing at Evangel was they were starting a marching band, and I'm a band nerd, and they had the uniform on display, and I was like, and I went to talk to the guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're starting," and I was like, "Okay," and I was like, "I'm gonna put Evangel on my list," and it's an amazing experience, and you get to traveling with students. They're away from home. You see a different side of them, always a better side, right? And they get to connect with each other and support each other,
Yeah.
and it's an amazing thing. I've always been an advocate for fine arts, and I always will be. I will say I think that I don't know if it's popular. I don't want to say that. How do I want to say this? I think registration numbers are slightly down from the current, not that long ago. But what I want to say is that the passion is still there,
Yes.
and the giftings are still there.
Yes.
So like fine arts is still doing what it's supposed to do,
Absolutely.
and there is still like, and I've said this before. Maybe I don't know if Scott's ever heard me use this line, but a very popular thing that older generations like to say, even when I was in youth, was, "Man, the youth, they're so lost.
Right.
There's no hope for them. They're such a mess. They've got so much junk they're going through. I don't know." Well, first of all, I rebuke that,
Yeah.
and second of all, I disagree with
Yeah.
that.
So not true.
I want to invite a person that has that belief, come to Fine Arts Festival and
Yeah.
watch what students are doing for
Yeah.
the kingdom. Like watch the giftings that they've been given and they're discovering, and watch what they can do.
A lot of the stuff that they do, it's their original stuff.
And that's another thing is I'm so amazed at that.
Yeah.
I'm also amazed at how most of these solos are like they're so worshipful too.
Yes.
Back when I would do it, it was like Michael W. Smith or like, now it's like, okay, and a
Yeah.
lot of these kids are like accompanying themselves.
Yes.
I could have never done that. Actually, I did it 1 year. Didn't go great, but it was fine. And yeah, I'm, you know, as long as it's a thing, I'm going to advocate for it.
Right.
And I'm going to advocate that our students do it because it only sharpens their skills. And sometimes you may even discover something that you didn't even know you were good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sign language. No,
No.
no. And, but you kind of, our thing that we found here that we're really good at, our students, is drama.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, how we discovered that, and then what you do to help with that.
So I think we just discovered it just from doing it.
Yeah.
I personally am the most confident in drama,
Right.
with coaching, and so I think if we had more people that were confident in other
Right.
places, I think that we could, like, I think we have students that could be very good at other things as well. We just don't. It's hard to explore them when
Hmm.
we don't have a whole lot of.
I think we can get a lot of kids to do a musical thing. We have a lot of
Oh yeah,
musical
we have
kids.
so many musical
Very
kids.
musical. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
we just have done drama for quite some time. Tried human video. I think we've done 2 human videos since I've been here.
Hmm.
And they were good.
Yeah.
They're not my strong suit in coaching.
Right.
So I think if we had somebody that was a phenomenal
Yeah.
human video coach, I think our kids could do very well in it.
Right.
So yeah, drama they just took off.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done it for as long as I've been here, which I started coming here in 2017, 18, I
Mm.
think. So as long as I've been here, we've done drama, and I just think that every year they grow in it.
I agree. They excel in it,
Mhm.
and the interest is highest in that.
Yes.
And talk about nationals. Was it 2 years ago? You know what I'm getting at?
Yes, it was. It was a while ago,
It
actually.
was
'Cause-
3 years ago.
It was my first year
Was
here
it 3?
Okay.
because I
yeah.
didn't go.
Okay.
Talk about
So we had a group of girls,
Sorry.
Emma, and Annie,
Uh-huh.
and Avery as well. So it was 4 girls, and they went to nationals for their drama ensemble small. They went, and we were talking about it. Like, this was everybody's first year of. One of the girls had done fine arts the year before. The rest of them, this is their first year. So they advanced at districts, and then we were talking about fine arts, and none of the families have been before.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm trying to explain how it happens, and I remember, and I like kick myself every time I think of this. We were talking about like how the schedule works, and I was like, oh, so they perform one day, and then there's callbacks another day. And then I remember saying something like, but we probably don't really need to worry about that. Because I was like, that never
It's
happens.
kind of unheard of.
It never happens.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, these are
Coming from a
there
smaller
are 3
district.
6th graders and
Yeah.
1 7th grader.
Yeah.
And drama ensemble is not divided by age.
Right.
So I was like, we probably don't really need to worry about that. And then they go and they get a superior at nationals, and I still was like, oh yeah, like if you guys want to plan something for the callback day, like go ahead.
Yeah.
And then the callback list comes out, and they're on it, and I was like, what?
That
Are
was
you
your
serious?
reaction?
I was like, that's amazing. Like, how?
And Scott's just like, oh, huh, yeah.
I wasn't there to even be like that.
That's true.
I was receiving all this information.
I mean,
over
when you
text.
got
I know, and
text,
my
that's what I
text
mean.
messages
Like,
were probably like all jumbled because I was like, I don't even know how to process this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
and then, yeah.
And then we like looked at their score sheets from their first round at nationals.
Yep.
And one of the things that the evaluators said is that they wish that they had interacted more with each other, because this drama was very much like, here's my story, here's my story, here's my story, here's my story, here's what the Bible says, here's what the Bible says, here's what the Bible says. And so I was like, okay, if we're going to do a callback and we're going to do a callback right, we need to take what they said
Yeah.
and actually do it. Like, these critiques are here to develop you, so let's do it. And so it was like the day of their callback, hours before they perform, and I'm like, all right, so we're going to change this. And they're like, what? And I think I probably stretched them out, but it worked out in the end.
Yep.
And so we added in some scenes where they would play a different character to interact with the person
Yep.
from another story, and we just made it a lot more interactive. Um, and then we went to the celebration service, and they announced top threes on the board, and we were not top three. And then we got back, and top 10 list comes out that night. And I remember we were all sitting there, like, just waiting
Yeah.
for this to come out. And it finally comes out, and they're not on it. And I text them, and I was like, yeah, like, you guys did so good. Like, because we weren't all in the same room.
Yeah.
And so I text the other ones, and then I think it was one of the moms was like, scroll down to the next page. And so I scrolled down the next page, and the list that I saw that I'd stopped at when I was like, oh, yeah, we're not on it, ended at 9. And 10 happened to be on the next
Oh.
page. And so we were on the next page, and we got 10th place in the nation with 3 sixth graders, a 7th grader, their first year of fine arts.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And that is amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
I was
me
telling,
either.
I told me and Pastor Johnny were texting. I was like, "Can you believe this?" Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like that's amazing.
They're so good. And every year they do so
Yeah,
well.
they get better and better.
They're
Yeah.
so good.
Didn't they perform in front of everybody at the ending service?
No,
Okay.
that was at I think Fall Youth Convention.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah, yeah.
presented. Yeah.
My bad.
And then last year we had a vocalist.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So Jenna went and did her vocal solo, and
7th grader.
7th grader,
grader.
yes. So vocal solo is divided
Yep.
by age. So there's vocal solo junior,
Junior.
and vocal solo senior.
Yep.
And so she was in vocal solo junior. And I still, like, I clearly did not learn my lesson. I didn't say anything.
Oh, you didn't say
I did
anything.
not say anything, but in my head I was like, no, vocal solo is like a
That
huge
is like okay. So
category.
yeah, real quick. That is probably one of the biggest categories, vocal solos.
There was over
There's-
100
Yeah, there's
in
tons.
just the junior.
And tons in the junior alone, and so they have to narrow that down.
Yeah.
So like, anytime we had a vocalist advance, we're like, and not to be
Yeah.
negative, but like realistically, we're like, just do your best.
Just do your best.
You know,
like, it's amazing that you advanced. Like,
yeah.
I feel like vocal solo in general is hard to advance.
It's very hard. Yeah.
And so she went and did phenomenal,
Yeah, she's great.
and then got a callback.
Same reaction.
And I was like, what? This is insane. Like, there's over 100.
Yeah.
And callbacks, so the way callbacks
talk
work
about those,
is
yeah.
Not every category gets a callback.
Yeah.
And it's not even the same categories every year that gets callbacks.
Yep.
It's based on numbers.
Yep.
And so, like, if there's a lot in one, like, the whole point of the callbacks round is to narrow it down to a top 10. And the callbacks come out for vocal solo junior female, and there's only 15 names on that thing
Out of the over 100.
out of over 100. Yeah, and so I was like, oh my gosh, Jenna, you're at least
That is
top 15.
crazy.
That's insane. And she ended up getting, I think it was 6th.
Yeah,
either
it was a
6th or
single
7th.
digit.
It was, yeah.
Sixth in the nation.
In the nation.
That's amazing.
In the nation.
That is so.
I remember watching because we were in there for her callback,
Oh yeah, you were there that year.
and all the girls that went before her, we watched like 5 girls,
Yeah.
and not saying anything bad about them, but the evaluators didn't say anything. And I remember after she was done, they were like, "Wow."
She's so good.
She's really good.
They literally said,
so
"I've
good.
never seen any girl that age be able to sing like that."
Yeah.
And so, like, I remember we were in the Airbnb when we found out, and everybody was like, all the girls, I just hear
That's
a loud
crazy. Yeah.
scream.
Yeah.
And then I found out she was 6, and I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
best.
Also, like, not that surprised. Like,
Yeah, at the same
'Cause
time.
she's
yeah, she's so good.
oh, she's so good.
Yeah, and then his little sister, who is
Yeah.
going this year for the first time.
Yeah.
His little sister. Oh my
so
gosh.
good as
Lu-
well.
Funny story about that actually. I think this is what it was. It was at our network district, state of Iowa.
Mhm.
I had never heard Little Sister, so I wanted to hear her. So I went there, and evaluators have a sheet they tell you what time
Yeah.
you evaluate. And I looked, I was like, I got time. And so, no, it was a different one, but I'll share it anyway. Well, I sat in there to make sure to hear her, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I texted our pastor. I said, this girl, at this age.
So
The tone, everything was accurate. The timing,
Yeah.
so good. Back, I was getting mixed up. Back to what I was getting at. We also had a girl who wrote a song.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. What grade is she in? Do you know
Uh,
what grade she's in?
9,
Seven?
Seventh?
What?
No, sorry, not seven. She's in either eighth or she's a
That's
freshman.
still crazy.
Yeah.
But I had this girl. I had one conversation with her,
Yeah.
and me and Danielle were even
And then she said,
wondering
yeah,
like if this is like a Christian song, and then I come to find out her parents are pastors.
yeah, they're Hispanic pastors.
And when she sang, I was like, that was another one. I didn't get to hear her before, and then when I heard it, I was like,
Y'all said the same thing. You're
Oh
like, we have a girl
my.
writing a song, but I don't know. We haven't heard it or
I
what.
haven't heard it, and
I
I
was like,
don't.
ugh.
Yeah.
and she even messed up a little bit on the
Sure,
song,
Sure.
but it was still
No.
Yeah, I
amazing.
had to stand. So I had just gotten done evaluating, and so I was like trying to run up there to be able to hear it. And I stood outside the door because
Oh,
the
you were
doors were already
outside?
closed, and
Okay.
I'm like putting my ear up to it, and I'm like trying to get everyone in the hallway to quiet down because I just want to hear it. And I, even from the hallway, I was like, so good.
Yeah, I was in
So
there and I was
good.
like, okay, I just want to be supportive, and
Yeah.
like even her piano playing, like it wasn't your
Yeah.
basic 1 3 5. There were some cool inversions and stuff and voicings, and I want to describe it as like Nora Jones and someone else used a different artist, but Nora Jones esque for sure. But I was like, what? Like this is
Yeah.
crazy, so good. But here's what I was getting at. I was like, I got time, I got whatever. But her song went a little long. Did they give longer for songwriting? I can't think at the top of
No,
my head.
it's 5 minutes.
I think that was something she had to also work on was the length.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I was like, whoa. And then our DYD texted me. He's like, hey, you're up right now in the sanctuary for. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I ran in there. And again, this is district level. It's a little, it's a
Little more
little,
chill.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like 5 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah.
And so I was late. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, you're good. And then everyone comes in because it's near the end of the day. And someone on the platform was like, all right, we're running a little bit behind. And I leaned over to Nicole. I was like, yeah, that's my fault. Because I was watching one of our students. But yeah, I'm always so amazed at when that happens.
Yeah.
When that one kid in the youth group that you don't really hear talk a lot. And all of a sudden they're
Yeah.
sitting on this amazing gift.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
who would
I
have ever
didn't
known?
I didn't know her very well.
Yeah.
She originally was thinking she wanted to do drama and then decided she didn't. And so I had her number and I had been texting her and she was talking about, she was like, well, can I sing? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so I sent her the rules for vocal solo. And then a little while later, I like texted her again. I was like, hey, what song are you singing? And she was like, oh, it's actually a song I wrote.
Very cool.
And I was like, there's a whole
That's a
category
category,
for
yeah.
that. And so then I like sent her those rules and yeah. And she did so good. And her
Amazing.
voice was so
So
pretty.
so beautiful. The
So
tone.
pretty.
And I'm pretty sure her family went, right, Scott? Her family came to support
So
her.
I had never met her parents, and I was like, I saw them, and I got to introduce myself and meet them, and they were the nicest people.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
And then I found out that from her mom, I was like, yeah, I didn't know she could sing or even play keys. And her mom goes, she plays drums too. And
Ooh.
she goes, Mom, stop. And I was like, you play drums? We need a drummer.
Drummer.
But that's the other thing too. You touched on this before. How when we first started going that drama, the parents hadn't gone. It's important for the parents to be there too. I know they can't always do it because of
Right.
work or whatever. But if you're a parent of a student and you're able to go to fine arts,
Yeah.
go watch them do this. It's amazing seeing your child do that. But it also gives you an understanding of how the festival works
Yes.
and what the purpose of it is. For example, my family, they like my sister's 10 years older than me. She did it and they were used to it. So like when they went, they were accustomed to
Yeah.
follow the rules and we got to be on schedule and, keep an eye on this and that. And it's just so helpful when you have parents and youth leaders who are knowledgeable of all that too. And I think now they're getting there.
Yeah.
Our leaders now and parents, they're like, okay, we understand this is how it works, and they just go to see their kids
Yeah.
do their thing.
At my church, it was like parents didn't go.
Really?
It was like very rare that a parent would come to nationals.
Oh man, my parents are there all the time.
They'd come to districts. Some. Our districts was still a ways away. It was
Yeah.
across the state. And it helped for me that my aunt and uncle live in where we had districts. And so it was like a dual thing for my parents is they could come to districts, but then also see. My mom could see her sister that she
Yeah,
didn't get to see very
that's it.
often. So that was really nice too. But then nationals, my parents never went to nationals. Most kids at my church, their parents never went. There was one family that they would go, but the dad, he coached. And so their whole family would just come.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was like all youth leaders that would take them, and then like our youth pastor would go. And
Yeah. And nationals, they kind of move around. There's a
Yeah.
handful of cities that kind of rotate through, but it's in Orlando a lot for
Yeah.
general council years, which is for Assemblies of God. It's like the big elections and meetings, and a bunch of pastors go. But the 3 years I went in '07, I mentioned it was in Indianapolis. Then I went again in '09. That was in Orlando, one of the many times. My very last nationals I went to my senior year was Phoenix. And so what we did was Orlando, the family went, and we basically, fine arts is not for this purpose, okay? But we basically treated it like it was also a family trip. I don't want to use the
Yeah.
word vacation, but it was a trip because we had stuff, we had
Yeah.
places to go. And so in Orlando, we raised enough money to go to Universal, which was really fun. And then in 2011, we all went to the Grand Canyon, which was really cool.
That's
It
cool.
was really fun, and it was just so rewarding to do that with your friends and
Yeah.
people that you've. And they rotate nationals. But the other thing I wanted to mention about nationals was like it's yes they present and stuff, but they also have services, and they have really great speakers.
Yeah, it's National Youth Conference.
Yeah,
the
the National Youth
same.
Conference. Yeah, and they invite really phenomenal preachers and speakers, and they always have amazing worship.
Yes.
And they usually have like a special guest artist that they invite. So in '07, it was the Planet Shakers. Remember this 2007? Okay, they were really big back then, and I was like, what? And then in '09, it was a guy named Jeff Dio. He came and led worship. He's been on this podcast before. And then in 2011, it was Ricardo Sanchez, and he was so good. And then this past year, y'all went. Who was it? Do you remember? I remember.
Natalie Grant.
Natalie
came.
Grant. How was she?
She was awesome.
So good. So they don't do like the guest artist so much anymore.
I know they do it mostly council years because they know
Yeah.
it's going to be a big number.
Yeah. And so Natalie Grant, she did fine arts, which is
Yeah,
why they
she's
had
a
her
she's a
come.
product of fine arts,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Yeah. But Danielle, thanks so much for coming by. Thanks for all you do,
Yeah.
seriously, for fine arts. Like if it
Yeah.
weren't for you, like
Thank you so much.
yeah, if it
You're
wasn't for
welcome.
you, we wouldn't be at this level.
Yeah.
And thank you for keeping that going. I think fine arts is
You're
so
not allowed to ever leave until I leave.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Fine arts is so important, and
Yeah.
it takes someone like you with the passion. And Scott, I have to say thank you to you too for being so supportive of fine arts
Yes,
too.
thank you,
Letting
Scott.
kids get pulled out for rehearsals and doing the actual trips because it takes planning, you guys. He's got to get hotel rooms booked. He's got to get the church van, and then when it comes to nationals, he's got to book the flights, and that ain't free. Got to raise money for that too. So,
Nationals was probably the most stressful trip I've ever planned.
but how rewarding though?
Oh no, it was
Isn't
awesome.
it amazing?
It was so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
It was awesome.
I will
It
go.
was-
I will go with y'all.
Though, and this is the main reason I love fine arts. So I'm not usually attracted to like hanging out with the kids that are into that stuff, but because I've always been a sports person,
Right.
Sports and like video games and stuff like that.
They have sports
They have
stuff
sports
too,
and
by the
video
way.
games
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah,
Okay, not my point.
they have tournaments
But-
and stuff. Yeah.
Those are not usually the students that I ever get to hang out with because obviously they also have their own groups of
Right.
friends and stuff. I always try to say hi to every student, so I'm not saying I ignore them, but like those trips are so nice because it's not usually the kids that want to hang around
Yeah.
me when we're at fall youth convention
Yep.
or stuff like that. So it's an opportunity to build those relationships and say, hey, you may not be a sports kid, but we still care what you do.
Yeah.
And so I love fine arts, honestly. Like I think it's one of my favorite trips that we do every year because it's just a 1-day trip.
Yeah.
It's a one overnight to the next day trip and we get back and it's so rewarding and it's always fun to hear, like Danielle said earlier, it's fun to hear the kids as soon as we get in the van, oh, we can do this. Oh, what if we did
Yeah.
this? And then Danielle's like, write it down.
Write it down.
Yeah, I will say that too. I didn't think about that, but that was a way I really got to connect with our youth pastor
Yeah.
was on fine arts trips
Yeah.
because that was our thing, just like how you described it so beautifully. I was the music guy. I was not athletic either.
Yeah.
And so like that was a way for me to spend time with them and youth leaders, get to know them because they're there to support you. They're like, I'll make sure you're remember this is back in 2007. I'll have your CD, like I'll get your soundtrack. I got you. I'll make sure. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's the best.
Well, I think for me, fine arts was something that really like helped me stay strong in my faith.
Oh yeah, that too.
Because I like started writing some dramas,
Yeah.
and a lot of times the dramas I would write would, either directly or indirectly be about something that I was going through, but I wasn't comfortable sharing with everybody that, hey, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And then through that, like, I'm writing this drama and I'm like, okay, but what does the word say about it?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, this is my struggle. And then I'm intentionally going into the word about it because I'm writing this drama that I honestly don't know if I would have done if I wasn't writing a drama about it. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
I've never known that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Riverside is acting weird again, so we push it in.
All right. Well, thanks again, Danielle.
Yes, thank
Fine
you.
arts is the best. If you have students,
It's the
let them do
best.
it. If you are a student, do
Do
it.
it.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Or if you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, add this show to your library. And if you could drop us a rating or review, that would be awesome. Love y'all. Shalom.